Hey parents, Sam here again, and as we're talking about boundaries and looking at relationships, and one of my favorite passages with talking about both of those topics is Ephesians 5. So let's look at Ephesians 5 verses 1 through 3. It says, "Be imitators of God, therefore, as dearly loved children, and live a life of love, just as Christ loved us, and gave himself up for us as a fragrant offering and sacrifice to God. But among you there must not be even a hint of sexual immorality or any kind of impurity or greed, because these are improper for God's holy people." Looking at verse 3, it says that there should not even be a hint of sexual immorality. I know that that seems impossible in this culture that we live in. It is a sexually saturated culture, and so I know that our students feel like this call to not even have a hint of immorality, of sexual immorality, that might seem impossible. To go through our high schools, to go to the movies, to go anywhere, it seems like that would be an impossibility. And yet, God calls us to this standard, this calling that's super high, that's to be holy, set apart, different from what our culture says and does. And that starts with what it says in verse 1, which is to be imitators of God. If we can lead our students to be imitators of God and to establish for themselves that style of life, like what Mike was talking about a couple of days ago, to live in such a way where they're guarding their heart and they are pursuing Him by imitating Him, that is going to lead them into this life where they are avoiding sexual immorality, among other things. And when it comes to relationships, that can be one of the toughest boundaries to keep. And so as a parent, what can you do? I think it goes back to 1 Corinthians 11:1 when Paul says, "To imitate me as I imitate Christ." If people want to follow Christ, it helps for them to have a human example to follow. And that's where you come in as a parent, to set that example, to live as Christ, and to be an imitator of Christ yourself, and therefore imitate Christ as they imitate you. They'll be imitating Christ. So good luck, parents, and as always, please just keep in the Word and following after Christ, and you'll see awesome results in your students.